Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jackman Nicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. If you have not had the chance, go check out our website at justsayingfootball.com and follow us on Instagram at justsayingNoGWJS for article and video updates. Monday Night Football for Week 2 is here.
Yeah.
I am ready for it, man. We have the Detroit Lions heading to Green Bay to take on the Packers. Packers only amassed 3 points last week. Aaron Rodgers with 2 interceptions last week. He only had 5 on the season last year. I love last week's game against the Packers when they played the Saints. That was so much fun to watch.
Oh man, I mean it's a crazy world when the Lions lose a game by only 8 and they are the 6th highest scoring offense in week 1 against a really tough 49ers defense. And Green Bay is the lowest scoring offense last week.
With a 35-point differential.
And you said, that they failed to amass. I think they failed to amass everything. They didn't. Aaron Rodgers didn't get a touchdown through the air. He only had 133 passing yards. You know what I'm saying? He had 15 out of 28, which is not Aaron Rodgers-esque. This team had 15 total rushes, and they had 43 yards. Aaron Jones had 9 rushing yards. He had 13 through the air. That's not what you want out of a guy that you probably drafted in your second round of your fantasy draft. Kylan Hill got more rushes than A.J. Dillon. This offense was an absolute mess last week.
They were a complete mess. And it's so funny because in the offseason when they signed Randall Cobb back to the team, everyone – he's got his guy back. He's got Adams. He's got, Jones. He's going to get Bakhtiari at one point in the season. And even Randall Cobb, 1 reception for 32 yards. It was a very unusual game for the Packers. And so I have to ask you, just because it was a question that all of our friends asked us. It was a question that so many people talked about all week. Do you think that this was a throwaway game for Rodgers to say, trade me? Or was it just one of those, was it just one of those games? 2 years ago, he just had one of those games, and then they still made the playoffs, still made an NFC championship run. So is it a throwaway that he's just saying, I'm throwing in the towel on the season, screw it, or is it just one of those games?
I mean, it had to be something, either the Saints defense came overly prepared and they were the most prepared defense that we've ever seen for a game ever. Or I think that Aaron Rodgers definitely is on his way out mentally of this team. I don't think that, I saw a stat where, if you throw the ball into the ground every play, you would have this passer rating. I believe it's like around, 38. He had a 36. He had a worse passer rating in this game than if he actually threw the ball to the ground every play. That to me is very shocking. Like you said, he has all of his guys here. And obviously, we've been talking about Aaron Rodgers all offseason. What is he going to do? But, when this guy has prepared a lot for the season for him because he knows this offense. But, man, he definitely had to have, thrown away a couple of passes there. That interception, in the middle of the field is just unacceptable for any quarterback. Seeing it from Aaron Rodgers, you'd think it was fake. Jordan Love came. This guy's got something to prove for this team. He went 5 for 7 in garbage time for 68. This guy didn't have the best passer rating, but he was able to go in there in relief and make some plays. I mean, he is a guy that wants to play. You can see that. And with Rodgers, I did not see that last week.
No, not at all. And let's just flip it over to the Lions. They surprised last week. I mean, they were getting decimated at one point in the game, man. And 16 points they put up in the fourth to make a little bit of a comeback. Got to highlight their 2 running backs, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift. Their running production, wasn't amazing. Williams had 9 for 54 and a touchdown. That's not bad. And Swift 11 for 39. Not what you want to see. But between the both of them, 16 receptions, 1 touchdown, about 116 yards or 121 yards in the air for them. That's what you want to see from your running backs. The 2 backs that can just do it all. Catch the ball in the backfield, run the ball pretty well. I expect them to continue to be used heavily. Sorry about that. Upstairs. Jack, if you want to take over for a second.
Yeah, essentially what Sean's saying is you got to highlight these running backs because, Jared Goff, this team is going to fall far behind. They threw 57 times last week.
Outside of Hawkinson. Sorry, my dog. My dogs now stop barking. Outside of Hawkinson, they don't have receivers. So you have to utilize your running backs that can receive the ball. When they find space, these running backs are good. Swift is a very, very solid running back. And when he finds space, he becomes really shifty, and he's able to get around some defenders. Same with Williams. These are two underrated backs. These two are going to be heavily featured, I think, in this offense consistently throughout the year. I expect a lot more screen passes to them, a lot more dump-off passes to them. Hawkinson isn't going to be open all the time. Amon-Ra St. Brown, isn't going to necessarily be your guy who's putting up 90 yards a game. Tyrell Williams isn't necessarily going to be putting up 90 yards a game. So you have to find ways for your offense to still move the ball downfield and getting into some of the other playmakers.
Yeah, and Goff, they fell behind, as you said. They were behind for a majority of this game. So I'm expecting this Lions team to fall behind in this one as well. I think that Rodgers is going to come to play in prime time. I think that we've seen this so many times where he says, I had a bad game. But, he's had bad games like this before, where he's had to, have the people relax. And he just, the two times that we've had big talks like this, he's won a Super Bowl and he's won an MVP. So, I think that he has the capability of playing to an MVP. He's the current MVP. But, on the Goff side, on the Lions side, you're talking about these running backs. And for fantasy this week, those are like the Hawkinson and those running backs are totally like playable, because I do think they're going to fall behind in this game. And I think that it's going to be on the tight end. It's going to be a lot of dump offs. As you mentioned, with these guys getting 8 receptions each last week, they had an accumulation of 20 targets out of 57 pass attempts. So, they're getting work no matter what. They're going to fall behind. They may not be the best running team, but they do definitely have one of the best running back tandems in the league.
Absolutely. And I'm going to go with the Packers in this one. I just don't think that the Lions defensively or offensively have enough to compete with the Packers. So much conversation this entire week about Aaron Rodgers. Like I just asked you, is it a throwaway game? Is it saying, get me out of there? Is this just a relaxed game? There's so much attention on that. He's even said, like, we're, the Bill Belichick, like, we're on to the next game. Or that was last week. Now this is this week. I think, like, with Monday Night Football, you obviously get a lot more of a spotlight with the Monday Night Football game. A lot more focus going to be drawn to you. I just don't see Aaron Rodgers having another terrible game like that again. Like you said, he has the moment like this, and then he goes RELAX, and then all of a sudden it's an MVP year, or an NFC Championship run, stuff like that. So I do expect this to be a bounce back game for the Packers. And, what a game to have it be, a get right game for you this early on in the season. It's week 2. You're not going up against, the Chiefs. You're not going up against, maybe the Steelers. You're not going up against the Seahawks, these high-powered teams that they have in the league. You're going up against the Lions, who are in a very obvious rebuild. You have an opportunity now to also get a win against a division opponent early on in the season. All these things to bring you up to 1-1, because right now no one in the NFC North has a win. The Vikings are actually the first place in the NFC North because they lost by the least amount of points, by 3 points. So
big flex.
So this is what's up? We're number 1. So this is an opportunity, I think, for the Packers. Get a division win early, get a statement win early, get your offense back on track, and continue to just take it off from there. I just don't doubt Aaron Rodgers' ability for the long term of the season. I don't think this is going to be all season, the week 1.
Yeah, no, and I'm going with the Packers. I think that it's a winnable matchup. I agree with everything you just said. Straight up, they have a winnable matchup prime time. This is where Aaron Rodgers does his thing. So don't be shocked. If he has a bad game, it's time to freak out. But if he doesn't, he probably is going to throw 5 touchdowns on this defense.
Yeah, and then everyone's going to forget what happened in week 1, and then it's going to be Aaron Rodgers is still one of the best quarterbacks to ever play the game, and then everything we've just been talking about is going to go right out the window. All that being said, I still hope that he departs in the offseason.
He's calling it early.
Yeah, he can just go anywhere. He can come to Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is looking like he might not be the quarterback next year, so you can come to Minnesota. They could do a little Brett Favre. I won't be opposed to that. We don't have number 12 retired in purple. That's all I'll say. Anyway, that is all the time that we have. Thank you all for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you all for listening. Check out the Monday night game. Hopefully it's a good one. We'll see how Rodgers does. We'll get back to you on that next week. But thank you all for checking it out. JustSayingFootball.com, Just Saying Football on YouTube, and Just Saying No GWJS on Instagram. Thank you all for watching and checking us out.
Thank you.